Hey there, Airsofters, Lightning W here. Today I'm going to be bringing you a review of the ANY SR-3M, or what I like to call it, the little carbine that could. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. The best way I can describe the ANY SR-3M is that it is a smaller, more unique looking AK. There's not much more to it. It has a modified version 3 gearbox, a fire selector similar to an AK, and an AK style hop-up. First order of business, however, is that this is not the only SR-3M replica on the market. LCT makes one that is much more accurate to the real thing. However, because of its accuracy, it does have some glaring issues. For instance, on this version of the SR-3M, the front handguard is much longer than on the real version. In fact, a lot of the design of the front end is not very accurate to the real thing. The front sight post isn't correct, the flash hider is wrong, and the overall length is too long compared to the real version. However, some of these features, such as the length of the forend, do have some added benefits. The LCT version of the SR-3M is known for having a ludicrously small battery space. This SR-3M, however, while still limited, is much larger than that on the LCT version. One thing I should mention though is that the trap door that you open to get to the battery compartment is not very secure, so I ended up having to wrap electrical tape around it so it wouldn't fall out during a game. The only real battery I could see possibly fitting in this gun would be either a 7.4 volt or 11.1 volt LiPo batteries due to their small size. Other than that, this gun cannot accommodate much more. The build quality of this gun is respectable. The upper and lower receiver are both metal, a thin metal, but not just some crummy pot metal. The folding stock is made of metal and is very strong, and the outer barrel is made of metal as well. It's most certainly not a super weak gun, but it does have a few areas of concern. For one, the screw that holds on the folding mechanism of the stock has wobbled its way out a few times, but it seems like I've jammed it in there enough now where it doesn't want to budge at all. The second place for concern would be the pistol grip. While it doesn't move around, its only real point of contact is on the motor itself and nowhere else. Yes, it has a full metal gearbox, but personally I feel like having a more secure pistol grip would help boost my confidence a little bit more. I honestly don't see that breaking very easily, but a hard drop or fall could do a good number on it. The final area for concern would have to be the forend. It's only secured on the receiver with a few small screws. While they aren't by any means weak, I again feel like a hard drop could do a pretty good number on this area, so it's my personal suggestion to just be careful with this gun. Other than that, the gun does feel very solid in my hands. The upper receiver does wobble a bit, but everything else is fairly stable where it needs to be. Another thing I should mention is that this gun does have one more thing that is not accurate to the real SR-3M. The folding stock on the real gun folds to the left, while this one folds to the right. I have noticed, however, that it is possible to flip the folding mechanism to the other side, and it looks like there is a pin in the front of the stock which would allow you to flip it. I personally left it because the push pin I was using was not big enough, and it just got itself temporarily lodged inside the pin in the stock. I still feel though that with enough force, the pin might be able to be removed, allowing you to switch it. Fun fact, I also discovered that the screw that holds in the folding mechanism is the same size as the screws used for an M4 buffer tube. So if you wanted to, yes, you could very easily put on a retractable stock. As far as other attachments go, I was able to find a black metal flash hider to replace the one on the gun. This gun does not have threads on the outer barrel and instead just has a simple Allen screw that holds the flash hider in a specific spot. This could be a turnoff to some, but to me personally, it doesn't matter. I was also able to attach a Dragunov style rail mount on the side and put a micro red dot on top of that. Be aware though that the rail doesn't line up perfectly with the middle of the gun, so you will have to compensate by adjusting your sight to the left quite a bit. I will state this as clearly as possible, the gun does not accept AK side rail mounts. It only accepts a Dragunov VSS compatible rail mount. When I first got this gun, I tried looking down the iron sights and noticed that in order to line up the post in the front sight with the notch in the rear sight, I was forced to aim the gun upwards. So I ended up getting myself a rail mount and mounted a red dot on top of that. Also, the rear sight on this gun can be flipped, but that didn't really help me solve the problem of lining up the sights. The magazine for this gun loads similarly to an AK, where you place the lip of the magazine into the gun first, then push the back upwards. On that note, loading the magazines can be a bit frustrating as some of the magazines I got were too secure to be opened with my fingernails. I ended up having to use a knife to get it open as the flap was stuck quite well. Another thing that is not accurate about this gun is the Fore Grip. On the real version, this Fore Grip is able to fold up into the handguard. On this version, the Fore Grip is locked in place and is somewhat angled. It actually is in a pretty comfortable place where I'm easily able to hold the handguard with the C-clamp style grip comfortably. Now let's get to the meat and bones of this gun. In order to adjust the hop-up, you pull back the charging handle and push or pull the lever on the hop-up unit. If you pull it towards the gearbox, you are giving it more hop, which will in turn give the BB more backspin, causing it to curve upwards. If you push it forwards, then you're giving it less hop, which will in turn make the BB go downwards the less hop you have. Essentially, with the hop-up unit, you're trying to find the sweet spot where the BB flies the straightest for as long as possible. Accuracy-wise, this gun is not bad at all. I was able to hit a man-sized target at 50 feet and 100 feet with relative ease, and I don't think you'd really be trying to reach targets too much further than that, since this is mainly a CQB gun. The fire rate and trigger response of this gun with an 11.1 volt LiPo won't turn heads, but it is fairly respectable for a stock gun. It fires crisp and clean and gets the job done. As for the BP velocity, I was getting roughly 320 to 350 FPS with this gun. So with that in mind, in combination with its size, it is a good platform for indoor CQB fields. Another thing that makes it great is its weight. It's extremely lightweight, which can help you be more maneuverable and nimble while moving around through the field. This gun also has a similar magazine system to an AK, however it does not use AK mags. Instead, it uses VSS style magazines, which are relatively easy to find as Echo One does sell them. A nifty little thing you can do for all those people who want to look cool or do some interesting looking action shots is that you can flick the empty magazine out with a new one by hitting the magazine release tab with another magazine, similar to an AK. Field stripping this gun is relatively easy. Here's how you do it. In case you want to change out the hop-up unit for another standard AK hop-up, you can access it by removing a few screws in the front and taking the unit out. I just put in a Mad Bull orange bucking to help squeeze out a little bit more accuracy from this gun. And also, if you want to remove the gearbox, simply unscrew the selector switch, remove the pistol grip and the motor cage. It should very easily slide right out. All in all, I'm confident with saying that this is not a bad gun, and for the price of around $170, you're getting a relatively decent gun. It has a unique style, a respectable build quality, and will serve you well for quite some time. And should you choose to upgrade it, we'll easily accept any version 3 gearbox compatible upgrades. I wouldn't say that this is one of those guns that you have to add to your collection, but if you are a serious collector, feel free to check it out. If you'd be interested in purchasing this whole package displayed in this video, feel free to send an email to mlwsales@gmail.com. I will be willing to sell this gun for a reasonably affordable price with a black and orange flash hider, 4 high cap magazines, the rail mount, and a red dot sight all included. In case you didn't know, I do have my own channel. It's a lot smaller than this, but I would be grateful if I could grow that channel and see the great things I might be able to achieve with it. I'll still be posting here, but if you want, you can see some of the videos that go here early, as well as the other content that I post from time to time. I also have a Patreon, so if you'd like, you can support me in my endeavors to help increase the quality of my content and make it easier for me to upload more frequently. If you're interested in this kind of content, consider subscribing. I'll have more reviews, gameplay videos, and tutorials coming in the near future. This has been MLightningW, signing out.